go again with another edition of the A-Train Sports Talk Podcast, the number one podcast in the state of Kansas. I claim that. I'm going to always say that because I believe that it is the number one podcast. Why? Because of the content. Why? Because of the guests. Why? Because of the listeners. It's never about me. It's always about my guests and my listeners. And on Monday, which was Labor Day, I'd like to say we had one heck of a show, very informative as we get you ready for the high school football season. We gave you quite a bit. And guess what? With the time I do have before I have to go to work, I'm going to give you some more. Also, I want you to also tune your ears in tomorrow around about the 2 o'clock hour, I do believe. As you will hear my voice on the radio, I will not be in the studio, but I will be on there as I will be giving my picks against Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz, and I do believe Jason Duda on KFH Radio. That is 1240 AM, 97.5 FM, KFH.com. You can also pick it up on the Odyssey app. So you have means and ways you can hear the A-Train on KFH tomorrow, which I'm also employed by them as a part-time fill-in on-air personality. So just wanted to get that out there to you. Like I said, the last time I was on, which was Monday, and I was supposed to come back on yesterday, but yesterday was just one of those days. Yesterday felt like a Monday, whereas Labor Day, I was having a blast. Like I said, what I do here when I'm behind this microphone, it is not work. It is pleasure. And if I haven't said it enough, I'm going to say it again. Special shout out to Vype magazine for getting me the magazine. That way I can do these timely, get you ready for the high school football season, because my information does come from Vype magazine, and I couldn't be no more elated. The other day we did one and we seen a typographical error, but that's human nature. There's going to be errors to be made. I was listening at a radio show one morning on my way from work, and a caller called in and wanted to know about a particular coach because he looked in their publication and they still had the coach who hadn't been the coach in some years listed as the coach. So it's just human nature to make mistakes. But that one, how do you make that one? That's what I want to know. But we're not going to talk about that. What I want to look at today is some player spotlights coming from Vype magazine. I'm going to let you know right now, the contributing writer for this one is my good friend, Blake Chadwick. Blake, kudos to you, my friend. You're doing the thing. I don't see how you do it all. AAU. If you have a position out there at Newman University, and you're a writer for Vype magazine, man, you got a full slate. In some kind of way, you managed to juggle all that and maintain. So kudos to you. But anyway, we'll look at some player spotlights, and we will get back into teams to watch. But we're going to give you a bevy of players to watch in what I call the player spotlight. First up is Derby's Dalton Hornbeck. After a tough championship game, lost to the Gardner-Edgerton Blazers by 3 points the season before, the Derby Panthers have exactly what it takes to return to the championship game again. The defense will be spearheaded by a bunch of talent, starting with junior defensive end Dalton Hornbeck, who is a big-time matchup nightmare. He says, "I think my biggest strength is my knowledge of the game," Hornbeck said. "I can read things pre-snap that will put me in a better position during the play. I can also read offensive linemen and quarterbacks well, so it makes it more accessible, and it allows me to play faster and make more significant plays because I'm always in the correct spot and know where the ball will be. The junior is coming off a great year where he totaled 7 tackles, 5 sacks, and 11 tackles for loss, anchoring that defensive line unit for the Panthers. Now he is primed for even more. Some personal goals for myself, he says, are to make all league and all state teams, which would mean a lot to me if I did, Hornbeck said. The main goal is obviously to win the state championship. We came up short last year and it left a bitter taste in all our mouths. And we have been working to make sure that does not happen again this year. So that's a look at Dalton Hornbeck out of Derby. However, we're going to stay right here in Derby. In that particular article, yes, I'm giving all the kudos right here, was sponsored by Todd Benway, State Farm Athlete of the Month. That was Todd Benway, State Farm Athlete of the Month. State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You can contact Todd Benway, 316-788-1964. Or go by at 958 North Buckner Street, Derby, Kansas, 67037. So we thank Todd Benway for sponsoring that State Farm Athlete of the Month. We have another Athlete of the Month to look at. Yes, I'm giving all credits what credit is due. This is Dam Wellness Clinic Derby Athlete of the Month. Year after year, Derby has produced Division I talent. Senior Deshaun Brame is the next in line to leave a legacy at Derby. The senior is ranked as a 4-star tight end according to all major recruiting services, and deservedly so, coming in at 6'6" and 235 pounds with big hands and a huge catch radius. Brame, the big tight end, is fresh off a year where he caught 46 passes for 942 yards and 13 touchdowns, garnering him all types of all-state and all-league accolades. It's awesome to have a player of his caliber on our team, junior Dalton Hornbeck said. He brings the spark to our offense and is someone that guys look to when we need a play, and he is a great vocal leader. The senior, who was born into a family of athletes, has been playing football since he was 5 years old. After a brief commitment to Oregon, Brame will now be taking his talents to the University of Tennessee next year. He says, I was definitely a lot closer to the Tennessee staff than Oregon, Brame said, and it's a lot easier for my family to travel to Knoxville rather than Eugene, and I wanted to play in the SEC. Brame has unfinished business to attend to first, though. As a team, we need to be locked in on every small detail and make sure we are putting in 100% effort to those little things as well. Brame said when asked about what it will take to get back to the state championship game, he says, I know that I need to be more vocal with the younger guys. I've been more of a lead by action guy, and I want to be more of both this year. Once again, Dam Wellness Clinic Derby Athlete of the Month. I believe this is Biote, which is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Something this small can make a big difference. Increased energy, better sleep, improved mood, improved libido, sharper mental focus. This is Dam Wellness Clinic. Give them a call, 316-766-5533. Contact Mandy Wood, APRN. Or check them out on the web at www.dampharmacy.com. And the train is rolling on as we have some more player spotlights to look at. From Derby, now we take you to Maize, as in Maize High School. This is the old Chicago athlete spotlight. That's right, with 3 locations: 300 North Meade, Wichita, Kansas, 67202, 2240 North Tyler Road, Wichita, Kansas, 67205, or 7626 East Kellogg Drive, Wichita, Kansas, 67207. Go by and get you some pizza, get you some drinks, get you some snacks. Go by Old Chicago. Once again, the Old Chicago Athlete Spotlight. Maize is Bryson Hayes. Once again, contributing writer for this story. Blake Chadwick. Maize's Bryson Hayes is next in line to be the next great receiver for the Eagles. Hayes is a senior who just committed to Nebraska this summer. I know somebody in talk radio is probably happy to hear about that. Anyway, we're not going to talk about him right now. But he says, I chose to continue my academic and athletic career at the University of Nebraska because of the development and future of the program, Hayes said. Hayes is known for his blazing speed and incredible playmaking abilities, which have rightfully earned him spots on the first teams of All-League and All-State. His standout performance on the field makes him the ultimate X factor in Class 6A. The senior burst onto the scene as a sophomore, catching 19 passes for 582 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. Then, as a junior, he took off again, catching 60 balls for 962 yards and 10 touchdowns. After a 5-6 2023 campaign, Hayes and the Eagles are ready for more success. For our team, our goal for this year's team is to leave it all on the field each game we play, Hayes said. My goals for this upcoming season are to be better in every aspect of my game and to have over 1,000 yards receiving. The senior has also made a big jump in his leadership aspect. We have a bunch of young players, so I got to really step in and be a leader, not just by voice, but by action as well, Hayes said. Our focus for this year is one game at a time. Once again, the Old Chicago Athlete Spotlight, Maize, Bryson Hayes. So what I am going to do right here, I am going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to look at some more players to keep your eyes on as this season gets ready to unfold. Right here on the A-Train Sports Talk Podcast, your host and conductor, the state's #1 podcast, Anthony Smith. To the A-Train Sports Talk Podcast, the #1 podcast in the state of Kansas. Oh, let me add another reason it is the #1 podcast in the state of Kansas, because it is the podcast that will give young student athletes a voice. That's right. The podcast that is giving young student athletes, football athletes, basketball athletes, male, female athletes, you all have a voice right here on the state's #1 podcast. And like I say, I am not taking a jab at anybody else who's doing podcasts and covering high school sports, because at the end of the day, I'm going to say it like this: we are all in this together. But what I do want to say is, I want to appreciate those who say they appreciate me for what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I am kind of old school in my way of thinking, because I'll put it out to you like this. I am a PK. I'm a pastor's kid. My dad is deceased, but I would hear him, even preaching his sermons. He said, we need to always praise our youth, because if they were out there doing something bad, you'd be talking about them. But when they're doing something good, you very rarely hear something about them. So the reason I do what I do, especially for these young student athletes, which is why I basically have reformatted the A Train Sports Talk podcast. If you notice, I don't talk a lot of national sports. Every now and then I'll bring my good friend Ed Nunez on and we'll chit chat out. But those of you who know me know I have two different podcasts. I have the A Train Sports Talk podcast. It started out, I did used to talk some national sports, but now it's about covering the state of Kansas. Whatever I can get my hands on to help me cover the state of Kansas. Getting out to these games. You know, I sound like a broken record when I say, had it not been for Coach Chadwick at Derby High School and Coach Jackson, I don't think I probably would have made my way back to a gym had they not invited me. And ever since the invite, I've been hooked. And then I went to the Maize South Carnival. Coach Brent Pfeiffer invited me out there, and me and my grandson, we had a blast. I think my grandson had more of a blast than I did because he got to interact. And some of the players on the team was impressed by his arm strength. One of the parents was like, why come he isn't playing for the Junior Mavericks? Trust me, if I fell into a windfall of money, I would probably try to take custody. Not that my daughter's not doing a good job. My daughter's doing a good job with all 5 of her children. But that oldest one, I would move me and my wife out to the west side of town. And he would be in the Maize South District. I'm letting you know that right now. Why am I saying all that? Because it's as if the red carpet was rolled out for us. Those are two places I know offhand I could say I felt like the red carpet was rolled out for me because the people were so appreciative of what I do, even on my podcast. Like I say, I know I'm not a household name, but the other thing my parents taught me, be careful how you treat people. So a lot of what I do is based on my upbringing, and then when I come into in contact with people, it's like we know each other. I've been accepted. I accepted them. So yes, y'all can talk about y'all appreciate me, but can I say something? I appreciate each and every one of you. Love you. So I can't say thank you enough for making my podcast. Number one, there are no rankings or statistics to back that up. I just say it's number one, and it's because of people like you who listen, my guests that will come on. And yes, the shirts are eventually coming. Moving forward, next time I have a guest on, hopefully I'll have a shirt. You will see my logo on the shirt, and my guest will be getting A Train Sports Talk Podcast T-shirts. And you will see the train pulling up at a game most likely this Friday. Possibility, let me put it out like this, there probably will not be a coach's corner this Saturday, which means I won't be reaching out to coaches. Me and my wife and possibly my grandson, we're going to take a little road trip. No, we're not stopping anywhere in particular. Just, give me and the wife and my grandson something to do. So, but hopefully the following week we will have some coaches lined up, maybe some players lined up as well too. But what I want to do is I want to get back into looking at some more players to keep an eye on. This is the USD 261 Hayesville Campus Athlete of the Month. Campus's Lukas White Athlete Spotlight by, of course, Blake Chadwick. Coming off a season where he had 7 interceptions, Campus's Lukas White was named an all-league second-team defensive back, which was one of the few good things after a tough 2-7 season. Now, under new coach Cody Peabody, White, who is a senior defensive back and wide receiver, is ready to go out with a bang. Adjusting to his intensity has been awesome, White said. It helps the team get fired up and be intense. I believe that he could lead our team to run through a brick wall, and we are taking on our coach's personality. We want to get better every day, laying a foundation that helps Coach Peabody build the kind of program campus can be. White has done his fair share of learning, but also knows that he has to step up and lead now, too. He says, I'm a leader by example, White said. I can lead vocally as well, but I prefer to lead by leading with a work ethic. For the senior, the work ethic hasn't lied as the rest of the league saw him continue to shut down the league's best all season. My mindset when playing defensive back is to be a dog, White said. I love to play man coverage and man press. I like to bait the quarterback into thinking the guy is open. It can be high risk and high reward, but often last year it was high reward. I also love to be physical coming downhill, and tackling is exciting. Now let's take a look at some more players, because today's show is going to be about looking at some of the players. And this next one is the Rachel James Shelter Athlete Spotlight, where let me be your home auto and life agent. Rachel James, 260 North Main Street, Suite 200A, Hayesville, Kansas, 67060. Contact 316-522-5005 or at rjames@shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield, we're your shelter. Shelterinsurance.com. Campuses, Camden Schroeder, Blake Chadwick. After a 2-7 season the year before, the campus Colts secured their second win in a season in over 5 years. For seniors like receiver and defensive back Camden Schroeder, they are ready to lead the program better than when they got there. As a senior, I have to be a role model for the younger guys to get them on board with the new culture, and we're trying to start, Schroeder said. I constantly have to have positive body language because body language can tell other players, coaches, and spectators everything. Campus's new regime will start under head coach Cody Peabody, as he will lean on Schroeder and the rest of the upperclassmen. Playing with Coach Peabody has been nothing but amazing, Schroeder said. I love everything he's doing, and what he's trying to do with our community is something special. Coach Peabody really emphasizes that there are no excuses and that everything is high tempo. He's bringing a different type of coaching than we seniors are used to, and every single one of us love it. So I'm really excited to see what type of noise we can make this year. With the new coaching brand, the ABCTL1 honorable mention running back will be looking to build off his 6.7 yards per carry and continue to compete at a high level. My own personal goal for this year are to earn all league honors and help lead our younger guys in starting to turn our football organization around, Schroeder said. Some team goals I have is to turn some heads this year as a team, as I feel like we have a totally different mindset in how we approach things, whether it be workouts or tough practices. Be more competitive in games and scratch some more games under the win column. Now for the Wichita area athlete spotlight. Wichita South, Jamarcus Webster. Wichita South is the team that struggled last year, but after 2 good wins over Wichita Southeast and Wichita North, the team has faith that they are improving their culture and as a team day by day. One guy that will be a huge piece is senior middle linebacker Jamarcus Webster, who has put up 94 tackles, 5 tackles for losses, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery in his 2 seasons playing varsity. He was also named second-team All-League as a linebacker and an honorable mention linebacker. He will be a 3-year starter for us, and no one will work harder, head coach Russell Wells said. He is great in the weight room and a really good student. He is in the AVID program at South and has stepped up as a leader this offseason. Webster's leadership stems from his sense of urgency and ability to adapt to anything thrown his way. Some of my biggest strengths would be that I am a leader, as well as being able to lead by example, Webster said. I am also able to adapt to situations ahead of me and come out on top, as well as motivate my teammates. I will always give it my best out there on the field, even if we are losing or winning. I always give 100% effort. Webster has been playing football for 11 years and wants to go out the right way. Some of my personal goals would be named a G-Wall All-State linebacker, Webster said. A 70-plus tackle season with 3-plus interceptions. Some of my team goals would be to make it to state, as well as being efficient on offense and defense, along with limiting fixable mistakes and being able to fight through adversity. Sounds like Wichita South Jamarcus Webster has his head on straight. The Kansas Turnpike Authority driving change athlete, Wichita North Kam Shortt, KTA driving change athlete spotlight. After watching his opportunity, Wichita North Kam Shortt will be ready to burst onto the scene. The junior has only played football for 3 years and has made huge strides to continue improving. My biggest strengths are encouraging my teammates, whatever they do right or wrong, Short said. I also have a positive mindset to where I know and trust in God to give me strength in myself and push myself forward. I couldn't have the strength today without God, which He has placed me in the right school and the right teammate. I couldn't ask for anything better. Despite having another over 9 season, Short and the rest of the Redhawks aren't discouraged and are hungry for a win. I want my team to finally understand how it feels to win a game, Short said. It always hurts us every year that we can't win, and now it's just a habit for North High School. But that's all going to change sooner than we all expect, and I'm ready to see the team grow and thrive into better players as a team. That's what the team goal is. Under head coach Mitch Kucera, the Redhawks have slowly started to change the culture, and that starts with guys with Short's team-first mindset. I stand out as a player, but having the right perspective on who I am and what I can be more of, Short said. I really do my very best to make and help the best I can for my teammates, and I love them all so much as a football family that I tend to want them to get even better than me sometimes, to be honest. And I can't be a good player unless my team helps me as well. So that's why I stand out. I care for my teammates dearly, and I want them to get better as than most possibly be. So that player spotlight is on North High's Kam Shortt. I have a couple of more for you, and then we're going to bring the train ride into the station as my time is slowly ticking and getting away from me. But I definitely want to look at these Wichita area players as well, too. So, with that being said, we have the Supplement World Athlete Spotlight. Supplement World, your number one local nutrition shop. Wichita, in East Wichita, South Wichita, West Wichita, and also at Town East Mall. That is Supplement World. Wichita East, Pharrell Adams. As a sophomore, Wichita East, Pharrell Adams put up a monster of a season with 110 tackles, 6 sacks, and 1 interception to be named to the Class 6A All-State First Team. The junior has been playing football since kindergarten and has always been one of the smarter players on every team he's been a part of, and this one is no different. He says, "My football IQ is my biggest strength," Adams said. "I know the play before the other team hikes the ball. I study opposing teams' offensive games that week to prepare me for what will happen on Friday, and I take pride in that." The junior has interest from colleges like Kansas, Kansas State, Nebraska, Arkansas, Wake Forest, Minnesota, Tulane, Notre Dame, Arkansas State, Florida State. Lord knows Florida State could use some help. North Dakota State, University of South Dakota State. Well, hold on, let me get that right. North Dakota State University and South Dakota State. But for Adams, the work isn't done. He knows that he has a chance to lead the Blue Aces to their first state championship since they went back-to-back in 1982 and 83. "I want to be named to the top 11 in the state of Kansas and break the school record for tackles with 156, Adams said. "My main goal is to lead this team to an undefeated record and to win a state championship in 6A. So it is a safe bet to say that the culture at Wichita East has definitely changed. And I know it starts at the top with Coach Ackman, but then you have players. Let's just go to the last year. You had Deontay, who's the quarterback, and he had the same mindset. Now you look at Wichita East Pharrell House. You look at him now. He has the same mindset. Want to lead this team to an undefeated record in a state championship. It may be tough playing in the G-Wall, but the mindset is there. And you never doubt the mindset of a team that's bought in. East High start their season, those you won't know, this Friday night against Wichita Heights, which should be a pretty good game. And if you ask me for a prediction, I'm not going to give you one. I'm going to play it safe. But I have a feeling that East just might come out on top. Wichita Northwest, Quavon Harris. Wichita Northwest, and this is Sherry Williams Shelter Athlete Spotlight. Located at 7348 West 21st Street, Suite 123, Wichita, Kansas 67205, 316-773-0600, or at Sherry Williams at Shelter Williams Insurance. We're your shield, we're your shelter. ShelterInsurance.com. Now for the athlete spotlight. Wichita Northwest, Quavon Harris. Wichita Northwest is another one of those schools who dominate year in and year out during league play. Last year was a little different for Northwest, though, as they lost to a C-League public school team for the first time since 2016. Can you say rivalry was brewing last year and came full-blown? While it was humbling losing to Wichita East twice last season, the Northwest Grizzlies, led by seniors like Quavon Harris, are hungry for another C-League crown. Harris is a running back and safety for the Grizzlies, who is a fast and strong player whose IQ helps him blow up plays before they happen. Quavon is a great kid that enjoys playing the game. Head coach Steve Martin said, "I never have to get him excited to play football." Harris knows that it is simple if the Grizzlies want to make it back to the championship game, a place they haven't been since 2020, when they lost in the championship game to Mill Valley. We need to play smart and think smart on the field and have good determination, Harris said. As a senior, how I help my team is by being the leader that they want me to be and to have confidence in myself and always bring good energy. The senior wants to play in college, but ultimately has bigger plans. My main goal is to go to college, to have my own business, and to help my family, Harris said. So, with that being said, we have one last one that we're going to look at because this train is going to pick up some steam, and we're going to do this again tomorrow. This is the Wichita Area Athlete Spotlight. Wichita Northwest, Franklin Ekue. I hope I pronounced that right, spelled Ekue. Wichita Northwest has always had really good special teams play under head coach Steve Martin. Last year was no different, as former soccer player, as another former soccer player helped them separate themselves from the pack. Junior Franklin Ekue was in charge of kickoffs and some punting last year for the Grizzlies. The then sophomore was looking for anything to get on the field, and when the opportunity rose, he didn't look back. Ekue had 2,581 kickoff yards and 9 touchbacks last season, which was ranked third most in Class 6A, helping him be named as a first-team All-City League kicker. "I have a strong leg," Ekue said. "I started playing football in the 7th grade and played soccer until then. Soccer is the reason I started kicking. Now the junior will be looking for a more significant role as he is competing for the starting running back and linebacker spots. I am a versatile player," Ekue said. "I can play wherever Coach Martin needs me. I run hard and go through people. It takes a lot more than just one person to take me down. And I have the speed to get away. Good route running, too, because I played receiver last year." Ekue and the Grizzlies finished last season with a 7-3 record
last year with 2 losses to Wichita East. We've had a very long process ever since last year when we got knocked out of the playoffs, Ekue said. We've worked through winter training, spring training, and now summer training to get to our main goal, which is the state championship. To win it would mean the world to us. It means all this hard work my team and I have put in finally paid off. So those are some of the player spotlights that we've looked at. And like I said, tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to look at some more player spotlights as well as looking at some more teams to watch. But right now, it is time for me to bring this train into the station because my time has been far spent. And now it is time for me to get ready for work. But I hope you have enjoyed the train ride on a Wednesday evening. As I say, the #1 sports podcast in the state of Kansas, highlighting high school athletes throughout the state and the surrounding areas here in Wichita and surrounding areas. Like I say, this is not work. This is pure pleasure. I want to say football season kicks off this Friday. Go somewhere and support these young people that are out there entertaining you. Enjoy a game of your choice. I can't say yet where I will pull up at, but trust me, I will be pulling up somewhere this Friday at a game. So until that time, until tomorrow actually, take care of yourself and each other. It's the 8 Train Sports Talk Podcast. We're pulling into the station. I'm out.